support. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So, colleague, but I know you're following the playoffs. I know I do have to ask that. Yeah. Now, what is your take on the playoffs so far, especially with the two top teams in the East going home weekend?
All right, for me, yeah, am I right?
Yeah, Henry, very good.
For me personally, I did not want the Nets to move forward, and I also being a student of the game, I was able to see that Brooklyn wasn't going to make it far any playoffs, or even if they did, they weren't taking home the championship this year. Especially the way Kyrie Irving was in and out of the team with no valid reason, and the chemistry they built basically kryptonite, a team that was supposed to be the other team's kryptonite, and it was kind of rush their rotations and the being with a rookie head coach in Steve Nash. Great player, but as they say, not all great players make great head coaches.
Yeah.
And checking his staff with Amari Stoudemire and D'Antoni, especially with James Harden coming over and the relationship he shared with D'Antoni, I didn't see them going very far. And once the playoffs started, I saw DeAndre Jordan was taken out of the rotation.
Mhm.
That I knew from then that was going to cost them. And most teams, just like the Mavericks, where everybody want to run small ball, but when the shot's not falling, you have to go back to the big man game.
Yeah.
Brooklyn,
Yeah.
however, Kyrie Irving as a guard, very skilled player, but his mental ability appears weak at times. So that can cost you. And his health, every year his health is always called into question, and it showed up. James Harden not too healthy, but still coming out to play, and you could see where these fellas, their game wasn't to the best. Blake Griffin actually showed signs of Blake Griffin that we know, the man who could jump over cars. And I know he needs to apologize to the Detroit fan base. So, but Brooklyn on the whole, with Brooklyn had a good team in terms of they still had, when Kyrie went down, they still had all-stars in DeAndre Jordan, Kevin Durant, Blake Griffin, great role players in Jeff Green and Joe Harris. I don't know what was going on with Joe Harris, but he didn't show up the shooter that we knew him to be.
You think this team will stick together for another season, or will there be some kind of parting of ways with some players?
Well, Griffin's contract would be up for negotiation, so you could see how that goes. Especially his playoff performance. Another contender may want to give him some money and more playing time and an increased role.
Yeah.
Which is something that we have to look out and see. More than likely, I would see this core of all-stars staying together and going at it again next season, probably rehabbing vigorously and going at it next season.
And now let's look at the Philadelphia 76ers now. Top seed in the East this year. They went home last night, heartbreaking. Joel Embiid tried. He had a big game last evening. Tell me about that series now. How did that? Give me your comments on that series.
I myself am shocked. I didn't think Trae Young had that in him. I really slept on this Hawks team, not since the Joe Johnson, Josh Smith, that era. I haven't really focused on Atlanta's basketball. I'd be kept abreast. I'd study them still, but I didn't expect Atlanta to move forward in the way they did. I mean, I picked the Knicks over them. I think I was just happy to see the Knicks in the playoffs and the way they were playing. But Atlanta actually is moving through these playoffs as a silent killer, and Trae Young is trying to prove his worth, and credit to him on that. Joel Embiid, however, not my favorite, but on the Philadelphia 76ers, where you have guys like Seth Curry coming into the season, coming in at the beginning of the season. With that trade, they lost Josh Richardson and other key players. You have guys like Tobias Harris, veteran Dwight Howard coming in, George Hill backing up, and the young guy, Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey played big in this series, especially with Ben Simmons shooting woes. Simmons was a liability in terms of shooting the ball. We all knew that. Joel Embiid, however, suffered a meniscus tear against the Wizards. So that also played a huge factor in the Sixers series, apart from other underlying injuries that their players suffered. Doc Rivers on the whole is a good coach. Championship caliber coach. We have seen what he has done. We have seen the work he has put in. I mean, sometimes he falls short at the line, but Philadelphia actually played a good series, and it's just to fine-tune some things, and they can be back out next year. I would keep the same
team. But how would you see Atlanta Hawks going against the Milwaukee Bucks though?
This would be an interesting series. Very, very interesting. Atlanta has a good core in terms of a young core. Thanks to the Rockets for making that trade by them adding Capella last year, and coming into this season, Capella has shown his word for Atlanta and what he can do. John Collins is a high flyer. DeAndre Hunter. No, not DeAndre. Kevin Hunter. Yeah, Kevin Hunter. Forget DeAndre. No, the next one. These guys have shown which one? That one I think is Bojan Bogdanovic.
I had to pronounce it. Bogdan, no, something like that.
No, one brother. I forget which one on Hawks. I think that's Bojan, and the next one on Jazz is Bogdan. So Bogdanovic was a huge addition for them. It was a huge addition for them. Also adding adding 6-man Sweet Lou. Lou Williams is a big addition. Lou Williams and all is happy to be. Well, he wanted to retire because he thought his career was because where the Hawks was heading, but him being there, that's actually, he is from Atlanta, so he is giving them that veteran leadership, that solid effort off the bench. Give credit to the Atlanta Hawks. They actually put together, and also they are a team that shocked many people because of the fact that they actually switched coaches during the season by replacing Lloyd Pierce with Nick McMillan. McMillan is a successful player and has coached many big teams, many big names in the NBA. So give respect to him and the turnaround he has made the Atlanta Hawks make. The Bucks series, Coach Bud, I would like to see him change some things in the rotation, but Milwaukee as well. Adding Drew Holiday was a very good move. Chris Middleton, as I told somebody, I said Chris Middleton's head is on the chopping block. Chris Middleton is actually playing for his spot on the Bucks or to get a great payday wherever he ends up next. And he's actually, for me, people would find it controversial that I would say this, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is not a first option on a championship team.
Okay.
Giannis is not a first option. He could be a second option, but he's not a first option. Giannis is kind of limited in the way he plays basketball. Great player, not discrediting that, but he's not a first option. And that is where you see Holiday and Middleton coming. Brook Lopez needs to step up a little bit more on the defensive end and the offensive end. I think he needs to play more of an inside game than this outside game that he's playing. I understand why they are playing him as a stretch 5 to free the paint for Giannis. Giannis as well needs to go and put in some serious work on free throws in the gym before the start of the next series.
And in the Western Finals now, of course, Phoenix leading 1-0. How do you think that series would go? Would Clippers fold or would they come back?
When I watch Devin Booker, I am seeing respect. Well, I have to say respect. May God rest his soul. Kobe Bean Bryant is on the court in a different form, and the way this young team has come, it is shocking. It is shocking. it has shocked the basketball world. Cameron Payne. I would have followed Cameron Payne's game because I big Thunder fans in Seattle. Cameron Payne was the backup to Russell Westbrook. Cameron Payne now could start in place of the injured Chris, well, not the Chris Paul, who is in health and safety protocols. Hope he's back soon to provide that veteran leadership. But so far, Jay Crowder, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton. Apart from Crowder and Cameron Payne, this is Devin Booker's first playoffs. DeAndre Ayton's first playoffs. Most of these guys' first playoffs. And they are actually performing like they have been doing this a long while. Credit to, and I saw he won GM of the year, James Jones. James Jones put together a great team. That Chris Paul trade was a steal of a deal for them. Monty Williams, as I said, Monty Williams was Chris Paul's first coach in New Orleans. Monty Williams has grown as a coach, an individual, and his players are playing basketball the way how I would want to see basketball be played. They are going inside the eight, and not everything they launching is from around the 3-point line. The mid-range game is heavily used. The big man, you've seen where the art of the big man is being used in the game. They are reminding me of an old school San Antonio Spurs with a young Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Tim Duncan playing. And these guys, the role players, are playing their role and a little bit more. Mikal Bridges. These guys are actually playing basketball, and they are just playing basketball. They're not studying the media, they're not studying the hype. They're just having fun out there and playing basketball. I hope Chris Paul recovers and he's back out there to play with them soon and take them to the finals. It would be nice to see Chris Paul win a championship for the first time in his career. He's 35, going on 36, or probably 36 already. So we don't know how long he has left in the tank. I would love to see Chris Paul win a championship. On the Clippers side of things, Paul George has actually started to play like Paul George, because for a while I've started to call him George Paul until he gets back that Paul George time. Paul George has actually started to play like Paul George, which he needs to continue. Clippers also made a great trade from the Hawks by acquiring Rondo. It benefited both teams. Rajon Rondo, I think Ty Lue needs to go to Rondo more in the late stages to control the game instead of Reggie Jackson. Yes, Reggie's playing good, but Ty Lue needs to go more to Rondo to bring that veteran leadership, that vision. It takes the stress off of his other players.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann, the sophomore Terrence Mann, he, as well as Tyrese Maxey, who played with Sixers, these guys are showing that they will be future stars of the NBA. People overlook them, but they are showing up big for their teams.
Yeah.
DeMarcus Cousins. Clippers also needs to use DeMarcus Cousins some more. Boogie, as though not healthy over the years, Boogie needs to be played some more. He can help them tremendously in this Phoenix Suns series. But all in all, I see Phoenix Suns all the way. I give credit to James Jones and Monty Williams, Chris Paul as well. And I love the way these young guys are playing basketball. This Western Conference Finals is going to be, it's not done. I would say Suns in at least 6.
Suns in 6.
But if not sweeping, because they can't sweep. But I would love to see this Western Conference Final go to 7. I want to see this series go to 7, basically, because it's exciting basketball to watch.
Yeah. So Phoenix in 6 and the Milwaukee and Atlanta, how that would go? Hi.
All right, that series being neutral. I just want to see basketball played, and I want to see how both teams could come out and execute.
Yeah.
There are two teams that. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. So, of course, I'll be getting back to you in the future again to discuss more basketball. And want to be able to discuss local basketball with you too.
Of course. Well, I see the big things that we are doing now, players associations on the line. So, thanks for having me.
No problem, man. Thanks a lot.
Anytime again.
Yeah, man. Take care, man.
Yeah.